In a small village surrounded by thick forests and tall mountains, there lived a man with 2 wives. Oni, his first wife, was gentle and kind, and everyone in the village loved her. The second wife, Udele, however, was mean and jealous. She often spoke harshly and never liked to help others. One bright morning, Oni went to the farm, leaving her little son at home. She asked Udele to please look after the child until she returned. In that village, there was a rule: no child must go outside at noon. It was said that a mysterious spirit named Nyagborimi roamed about at that hour, searching for children who wandered alone. That afternoon, the little boy told Udele, "Stepmother, I need to go to the backyard." He asked her to follow him, but Udele, being lazy and unkind, waved her hand and said, "Go on your own. You don't need me." So, the innocent boy went alone. As he sat behind the house, a soft wind blew through the trees. Then, from the shadows of the bush, Nyagborimi appeared, tall, quiet, and glowing like mist. Before anyone could see, the spirit carried the child away deep into the forest. When Oni came back from the farm, she asked quickly, "Where is my child?" Udele shrugged and said, "He went to the backyard to relieve himself." Oni ran outside, but the child was nowhere to be found. Her heart broke. She cried and cried as the sky grew dark and rain began to fall. Desperate, she ran into the forest, calling her child's name over and over. After walking for a long time, she saw an old woman sitting under a giant mahogany tree. The woman was very old, her clothes torn, her hair gray, and her hands wrinkled. The old woman asked kindly, "Why are you crying, my daughter?" Oni knelt down and said, "I'm looking for my little boy. Please, have you seen him?" The old woman asked softly, "Will you say that I am smelly?" Oni shook her head, "No." "Will you say I am dirty?" Again she said, "No, mother. You are kind to even speak to me." The old woman smiled. "I saw a strange being carrying a child toward Omakole forest. If you go there, you will find a small hut. Your child has fallen into a deep sleep. Inside that hut, there are pots. Take one thing from each pot, and then go home." Oni thanked her and followed the path. When she reached the hut, she found her child lying quietly, as if in peaceful rest. Tears rolled down her face. She took one item from each pot, just as the old woman had said, and went home slowly. But something amazing happened. The moment she placed the items on the ground, they turned into gold, food, and clothes. Her house shone with light. She became rich and respected in the whole village. Even though Udele had been cruel, Oni shared her new blessings with her. Udele became jealous. She thought, if my co-wife became rich by losing her child, I can do the same. The next afternoon, she told her own child, "Go to the backyard at noon." And once again, Nyagborimi came and carried the child away. Udele cried fake tears and ran into the forest. She soon saw the same old woman under the mahogany tree. The old woman asked gently, "What are you looking for, my daughter?" But Udele shouted, "I'm looking for my child." "And you, why are you sitting here looking so dirty? You smell awful." The old woman only smiled and said, "I can help you. Go into the forest. You'll find a hut. Take one thing from each pot." Udele ran off without even saying thank you. When she entered the hut, she saw many pots filled with yam, meat, and melon seeds. She laughed greedily. "Why take just one when I can take them all?" She began to eat and eat until she was full. But when she tried to step outside, everything went dark, she couldn't see. When she turned back inside, she could see again. Still, she didn't stop eating. Then, the wind howled. Nyagborimi returned. "So, I have been hunting for meat, and here is one sitting in my hut," the spirit said. The spirit looked at her kindly but firmly. "Since you are so hungry, help me fetch water to fill these pots." Udele obeyed. She carried water again and again, but each time she tried to leave, the darkness returned. When all the pots were full, the spirit said, "Now light a fire under that big pot." She did. Then the spirit said, "Check if the water is warm." Each time she touched it, it grew hotter and hotter. The woman began to sweat with fear. Finally, Nyagborimi said, "You have filled the pots with greed, but kindness would have set you free." And with that, the forest went silent. The hut disappeared, and Udele was never seen again. From that day on, everyone in the village learned a great lesson. Kindness brings blessings, but greed brings trouble. And no one ever disrespected an elder again, because sometimes, the person you call Udele may just be a spirit in disguise.